officials will be stepping up to the microphones very quickly here. All right, in the meantime, let's listen.
Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. My name is Deanna Wall. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Boulder Police Department. We are in the very, very early stages of this active investigation, and Chief Steve Redfearn is going to speak to you about what happened this afternoon. Chief.
Hold on, Steve.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Dion said, my name is Steve Redfearn. I serve as the police chief here in Boulder, Colorado. Today, I'm here to give you very preliminary information about an attack that occurred here in downtown Boulder at about 1:26 p.m. today. At that time, Boulder dispatch received several calls to the county courthouse located at 1325 Pearl Street here in Boulder. The initial callers indicated that there was a man with a weapon and that people were being set on fire. The initial response by our officers, we were on scene very quickly. When we arrived, we encountered multiple victims that were injured with injuries consistent with burns and other injuries. While our officers and paramedics and fire department personnel got those victims quickly to the hospital, our officers were pointed out, a suspect was pointed out to our officers on the scene. Our officers immediately encountered that suspect who was taken into custody without incident. That suspect, who I'm not able to ID at this time, was taken to the hospital with some minor injuries as well. And there's a lot more we're investigating right now before I'm able to release information on that person. The scene itself is contained, but we have a large area here in downtown Boulder, and there's a lot more we're investigating right now before I'm able to release information on that person. The scene itself is contained, but we have a large area here in downtown Boulder closed off right now. Businesses have been closed, and we have asked people to avoid the area. This area is not safe yet. We're dealing with a vehicle of interest. We're dealing with a large area that we are making sure it's safe before we allow people to come back into the scene. If your vehicle is here in the several block perimeter that we have, please follow our social media. We will announce when the roads are open and people can retrieve their vehicle as well. I appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this complex scene. What I will say lastly is this was a beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown Boulder on Pearl Street, and this act is unacceptable. I hope you'll join me this evening as we're working through this investigation. We are working, I just came from the command post. We've got dozens and dozens of people here, our state, local, and federal partners, working through this to figure out exactly what happened. I ask for a little bit of patience as we do that, but also I ask that you join me in thinking about our victims, the families of those victims, and everyone involved in this tragedy. Our hearts go out to them, and we are going to do everything we can to work as hard as we can throughout the evening to provide more information and get answers for everyone. With that, as I stated, it would be irresponsible for me to speculate right now on motive and other things. I will take maybe a handful of questions, but then I've got to go back to a briefing.
I had a quick one.
Yes, Sean.
Was an actual protest going on when this occurred? Were a group of people gathered, and were words said that would indicate this had anything at all to do with that protest?
So what I will tell you, on Pearl Street, it's a walking pedestrian mall downtown here. There was a lot of people out. Very beautiful day. There was a group of pro-Israel people that were there in a peaceful demonstration. I wouldn't even call it a protest. I believe that happens frequently down here. They were there in that area. We are looking and actively interviewing victims and witnesses to determine if that group was targeted or others, and we just don't have those answers yet. Those are things we hope to be able to provide you later this evening.
FBI is already calling it a targeted terror attack. Mm-hmm. Would you also refer to it as a terror attack?
So I've been in contact with our local FBI multiple times. We are in contact with them here. We are not calling it a terror attack at this point. Again, it's way too early to speculate motive. I know there's a lot out there on social media, but I ask people just to give us a little bit of patience while we work through a really complex scene. A lot of witnesses were here. We've taken them to another location to debrief them and interview them. As we do that, I think the picture will become more clear. But it would be irresponsible for me to speculate on motive this early on. We're only a couple hours into this thing.
About the suspect, can you confirm the description about him? Because we know any picture running in social media.
I haven't seen it, and obviously I wasn't here when he was arrested. All I know is it's an adult male. We're working to identify that person. We're working to figure out where they're from, and we're in contact with our federal partners as well as we figure that out.
Was something thrown at the group?
That is being investigated as well. So our initial call, as I mentioned, was a report that someone was setting people on fire. That is fairly consistent with the injuries that we found on scene, but we're not 100% certain how that happened, and that's what we're doing to interview. There's a lot of witnesses that we're interviewing. I suspect within this evening, we'll have a better idea of exactly how those injuries occurred.
Are you guys going to have additional security for Jewish and Israeli people helping the hostages in Istanbul right now? Because this is a weekly occurrence, are you guys going to now have some additional security measures to protect Jews in Boulder?
So what I will say is, again, I cannot confirm right now that this was targeted at a specific group of people. We understand that there's a lot of tensions right now and a lot of issues in the United States and everywhere. Once we have a clear motive, we will react accordingly. And if that motive was a group was targeted, we will absolutely step up and ensure that additional security, additional presence. We want people to feel safe no matter what they're here for.
How many people were injured?
I don't have an exact number. What I will say is multiple. I can confirm that Boulder Community Hospital received multiple patients, and some of those patients were transferred to other hospitals. Right now, we have detectives working to find out specifically the number. Again, hopefully later this evening we'll have an exact number. Right now, I'll just say multiple.
Any life-threatening
Take one more question.
Any life-threatening injuries?
I believe so. What I'm being told is there are a range of injuries from very serious to more minor. And again, I just am, my heart goes out to those victims, and we're keeping them in our thoughts, prayers, and minds as they recover. I got to go back to the command post.
You need to take this call. And I'll tell you that we are going to have another update later tonight. We will post that out and we will live stream it as well. So follow our social media for the next update. We will have another update for you this evening.
Are you going to expand the closures to other businesses, or is it for?
We will put that out if we do. Right now we just have these. So thank you. We will put out when we have another update tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Andrew Kraft back here. There you have it. That was the Boulder Police Chief Steve Redfearn there updating us on what exactly transpired there this afternoon on Pearl Street. An attack occurred. Boulder Dispatch received calls to the courthouse. Callers indicated a man with a weapon and that people were being set on fire. Multiple people were taken to the hospital. They do not know. They could not give us how many people were exactly injured, the number of people, but their injuries were consistent with burn injuries, but also other facets of injuries as well. So that was somewhat of a key hallmark of this very attack here. We do have some of this footage from the scene. Take a look at this. As you can see there, that's courtesy of our partners at Fox 31 Denver, KDVR. Now, a suspect has been taken into custody without incident, according to the Boulder Police Chief. Officers got on scene very quickly. The suspect is an adult male. He says this act is unacceptable. The suspect has also now been taken to the hospital. The scene, though, at this time is contained. That's new as well. I've been wondering whether or not this was still an active incident. The scene at this time has been contained. They are also dealing with a vehicle of interest at this time. They have called this a complex scene, describing the incident as tragic, though when asked whether or not that the Boulder police is characterizing this as a targeted act of terrorism, much like the FBI is in Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, the Boulder police chief there is essentially saying that they are not ready to call it that just yet, saying it is much too early to even comment on a motive, saying they do not want to speculate on a motive at this time here. They did say there were a group of pro-Israel demonstrators participating in a peaceful gathering at the time that this attack occurred. They did not confirm whether or not any demonstrators in that group were a part of the group that was injured in this attack here. So, like I said, they are going to have another press conference a little bit later on tonight. We will air that for you in full when it happens live. We don't know what time that's going to be. So, they cannot answer yet whether or not this specific group, this group of pro-Israel demonstrators, were specifically targeted in this attack. That was in response to a question on whether or not the Boulder police believe right now that this is a targeted terror attack, much like what the FBI is saying. Now, remember, FBI agents, they're on the ground assisting in the investigation here. So they are not calling it a terror attack at this point. So seemingly some type of contradictory statements being made by the FBI and local police down on the ground. Local police are not ready to say yet that it's a targeted terror attack here. So we don't know who the suspect is. We don't know their name. We only know the suspect is an adult male, but callers indicated, 911 dispatch got, that there was a male with a weapon and that people were being set on fire. And those injured, multiple victims were injured in this with injuries consistent with burns. And so that was something we had to highlight there, though the scene at this time now is contained here. In the meantime, though, we do have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, this is a developing story now shaping into be our biggest story on this Sunday. When we come back, we will replay for you that very press conference in case you might have missed it live. We'll have that for you in replay in 2 minutes.